Now guys, Prince Harry has appeared on a sit-down interview with the BBC where he is discussing his security arrangements while in the UK. His security downgraded once he stepped back as a working royal, and he wasn't happy about that. So now we know, we've got some closure. Now we know what Meghan Markle means when she says her husband is going out to slay the dragon and save the princess. This is what it looks like, guys. Sitting down with the BBC, talking about security arrangements that he's not getting anymore because he lost his court appeal. You might remember that part in the podcast where she said, I forgot the name of the podcast, but it was that she was sitting down with a lady who makes one facial expression for the entire podcast. Yeah, check the boots, check the trunk. There's a body in there. But let's remind ourselves of what she said.
You know, and I always think about it like the end of Super Mario Brothers when you get to the final level, and what's the goal in Super Mario? They're like, slay the dragon, save the princess. I'm like, that's my husband.
This is the least intimidating dragon and the lousiest knight. I feel like she wants to see Prince Harry as the knight. Like she wants to see Prince Harry as Shrek who goes to save Fiona. But really, he's Lord Farquaad. And he arranges for other people to go and do it for him. You remember that it was Lord Farquaad wanted to marry Princess Fiona. And that's why he sent Shrek. Shrek just wanted his swamp. He wanted his peace. And he said, the only way for me to get rid of all of these magical creatures in my swamp is if I go and confront Lord Farquaad. And Lord Farquaad promises his peace in his swamp. And all of the magical creatures will go away if he can save the princess. That's what it feels like Prince Harry is. He wants to be the knight that slays the dragon and saves the princess, but it was Shrek. Give the ogre credit where credit is due. Prince Harry's moving like Lord Farquaad. He thinks he's the knight, but he's trying to get the British taxpayer to slay the dragon for him. We're not paying for your security, babe. We're not doing it. Let's listen to what Prince Harry had to say in this interview.
I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point, and the things that they're going to miss is, well, everything. You know, I love my country. I always have done, despite what some people in that country have done. So you know, I miss the UK. I miss parts of the UK. Of course I do, and I think it's really quite sad that I won't be able to show my children my homeland. You know?
Oh my goodness, look how much this man has lost. Look at his eyes, his face, I'm very sad. Like, yes, you should be sad. Your kids cannot grow up and have the same upbringing you did. They're not going to be exposed to your English culture and heritage. Like, they're not going to be here. They're not going to get to say, oh yes, we played in the back garden, in the lily pond, in the farmlands of the Midlands, and the farm, and the whatever, I don't know. What do English people do in the summer? I don't know. What do royal people do? I don't know, but everything in his childhood, the parks he went to, the playground he was taken to, the things he did in the farm, and I don't know why I'm thinking of farm so much. He's a posh boy, but everything in his upbringing, he cannot pass down to his children as a legacy. Let this be a cautionary tale. Let this be a warning to anyone who's dating someone who's like Meghan Markle, who self-victimizes on the basis of race, who doesn't take accountability for the areas where she's so unlikable, and she's just does not comply with royal protocol whatsoever. There are so many successful interracial relationships, but the reason this didn't work is because of how potent and how volatile these topics are. Race, systemic, and British Empire. Like, that's dangerous. That's dangerous now. That's dangerous now. That can separate your entire family. She doesn't respect the culture, the tradition. The reason this didn't work is Harry missed all the red flags. Harry missed all the red flags. He couldn't see. He didn't understand. He didn't see this. And I actually think he did want to be a knight in the sense that he wants to kind of slay the dragon of unconscious bias. I feel like he thinks he's really falling on the sword for black people here. I think Prince Harry thinks he's falling face first on the sword for black people, and he's like really sticking one out for the team. Babe, you're not. You're not. You're not. You're not. She's not. She looks Mexican. I said this last time. Oh, she looks Mexican. I think he thinks he's slaying the dragon of unconscious bias on behalf of the black community, and you're not. Also, how could you slay a dragon that you can't see? It's unconscious. I think he thinks he's like a martyr for black people. He's like, I did this for you. Yeah, I'm better than everyone else in my family who's got unconscious bias. There's this brilliant comedian. I think his name is Army something. He does the best impression of Harry. I was going to say Harry Styles. He does the best impression of Prince Harry. I'll show you.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Unconscious.
Unconscious who?
Unconscious bias.
What?
Exactly.
I don't get it. Who would get that?
Well, clearly it's systemic.
Unconscious bias? Was that supposed to be a joke?
To most people it is.
But I don't get it, Harry.
That's the problem. We need to organize the conversation.
Well, you need like a punchline or something. It's supposed to be a funny joke, right?
I'm a joke to my family. That's the problem.
Oh, God,
Now
Harry.
you know how I feel.
It just wasn't funny, Harry.
That's hurtful.
God, I think you gotta work on your material.
There was a period of time where I was just binging his impressions. Like, I was just binging it. I was just like this is so accurate. It's so accurate. The whole, everyone loves Kate, but they don't love me. And it's because I've got a drop of black in me. Like, this is terrible. This is terrible. This is terrible. Let this be a warning. Men, look how miserable he is in his eyes. Hear it in his voice. Don't date someone like this. Don't do it. Let's listen to more.
You know, we've lost the appeal, but the other side have won in keeping me unsafe.
All of these are just the consequences of your actions. You step back as a working royal. I think the word, when he says the words, the royal household, it does seem to be code for the royal family. And in that way, he's like inadvertently alleging that his family, like King Charles, is responsible for pulling his security. He's not a working royal. You're not fulfilling the responsibilities that you had before. And just to let you know, he has private security. The interviewer asked him about this. There's just a certain jurisdiction that private security doesn't cover. And that's why he wants taxpayer-funded security. And can I just say, it feels so distasteful. Like, we're at a time where we're all marveling the price of milk and eggs. Like, milk and eggs. We have the posh boy prince who's like, I need millions of pounds worth of security every year. And he's going off to the BBC complaining. Like, he doesn't have to think about the price of milk and eggs. If you ask him, he probably doesn't know. On top of that, he's asking for it from a country that he alleges is racist. The press, the institution, the establishment. Why would you want racist people's money? If we're all so racist, why do you want British taxpayers' money? There's also just a great deal of self-importance here. I mean, he's even arguing that the threats to his safety remain even though he's not a working royal anymore. And what I really want this to be, actually, is an analogy of what happens to us as Christians when we step outside the covering of God. We lose that security. So we can't go blaming God when it's gone now. And then bad things happen. Look, Psalms 91, whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. It later goes on to say, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely he will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. So what's happening to Prince Harry, in a way, is like what happens to Christians when we step outside of the church. We stop praying. We don't listen to our pastors anymore, or our bishops, or the clergy. We don't submit to authority in the church anymore. We just lose a spiritual covering. We lose a layer of protection. Bad things might happen to you. You might get robbed. You might be assaulted. You might just get heartbroken. You might get used by some boy or something. You might succumb to an illness. And then you point the finger at God after all of that happens. But you're supposed to be protecting me. Where were you, God? All these bad things are happening to me. Where were you? And he says, when's the last time you prayed? Protection and security is not your entitlement. It's a gift. It's a gift. Why would, listen, in the Lord's Prayer, a line of the Lord's Prayer is, and deliver us from evil. Why would he ask you to pray that prayer? That was the prayer that Jesus instructed us to pray with. Why would he ask you to pray that prayer if he has already delivered us from evil when he died on the cross? Because you need to be in continual relationship with the Father. You can't just dip for 20 years of your life and think that you're going to have the same protection that you did when you were praying and you were asking so that you should receive. Every bad thing that's happened is because God didn't do this, God didn't do, you've not. When was the last time you went to church? Did you go to the Easter service? Did you go to Easter Sunday service this year? That would be the bare minimum. That would be the bare freaking minimum, seriously. And you look to God how Prince Harry looks to us. Distastefully entitled. What makes you think you're entitled to God's protection? You are a sinner. You're a sinner. Now, I would like to outline some conditions that I believe should be the prerequisites for reconciliation. Because Harry speaks about in this interview how he would like to reconcile with his family. I don't know how cooperative the palace will be because he yaps to the press about literally everything. There is no confidentiality. There's no trust. But I think he should, number one, apologise to his family for calling them all racist, even if it's just unconscious. He needs to apologise for leading the press on with this narrative that there were concerns and conversations about the colour of Archie's skin. And he needs to take accountability for the fact the British press didn't spin that came out of Meghan's mouth, and you did nothing to quash it. Nothing. You just ran with it. And only later in an interview with ITV, he sat down and he said, no, we didn't say that. We didn't say that the concerns and conversations about the colour of Archie's skin was racist. Had like racist undertones. That the British press said that. Apologise. Take accountability. You're a man. You are a man. You need to concede the teaching of unconscious bias. I think you should do that. And also, I think he should apologise to his family members individually for everything that he wrote in his book. That book? Scandalous. Just like everything, like literally everything. But let me know if you think there should be any other prerequisites for reconciliation with his family, because I think there are more. There are obviously really bad things he's done, but I feel like those are the main ones. Those are the ones that went really viral. The most damaging, I would say, for the reputation of the royal family across the Commonwealth. But I think there could be more, but I think those are like the main ones. Those are the ones like everyone. Oh yeah, Meghan's got to say sorry for mocking the curtsy. Sorry, that was your culture. And I humiliated you. You know what I mean? You know how far sorry can go? I think British people loved Harry. He was like one of the most popular royals after the Queen. Sorry can go a long way. I know we live in this cancel culture thing. Like everyone's like, no, you can't, whatever. But I think British people love the royals so much. I think if Harry just owned up to it and he actually took accountability for his actions as a man should, I think a lot of people, I don't know. Listen, maybe I'm speaking for you. What would you accept Harry back? If he literally fulfilled all of these prerequisites for reconciliation that I have listed, and then any others that you might have as well, would you accept Prince Harry back? You would say, bring it in. Bring it in. They are family. They are a family. You know, at the end of the day. Yes, you know what I mean? Yes, they are a royal family, but they are a family themselves. You know? But also notice how many of our requirements for reconciliation look like God's. Fortunately, God is far more gracious than the UK taxpayer. You're like, no, drop his security, strip him of his titles now, immediately. Thank the Lord, thank God, thank the living Jesus Christ that God is more gracious than the UK taxpayer. Because if we did those things, we admit our faults, we repent, we confess, we return to God again, get baptized, he forgives us. And he forgives us so much. He actually, the Bible says, he wipes our transgressions from his memory. All of our sins from his memory. It's just gone. The book, the podcast, the Netflix docu-series. God can actually forgive all of that. Pretend like it never happened. Regardless of the damage that it did across the Commonwealth. Something like 52 member states in the Commonwealth. He can forgive all of the damaged reputation. He can act as if it never happened. And the slander at the time where the Queen was poorly, in her final moments, it can all be forgiven and forgotten. Just don't be like Prince Harry, who is currently still in denial of his wrongdoings. He still thinks the British press is... He still actually thinks... He thinks he needs to forgive... He still thinks he needs to forgive his family. He still thinks it's the other way around. I think a part in this interview actually with the BBC, he's like, I can forgive the press. I can forgive the media. I can forgive the... I was like, what? We can forgiving us? What? We loved you, Harry. You were like the... I don't know which ranking it was. I think he was the most... I think it was like after the Queen, it was Prince Harry. I don't actually know. I might have to check that. But he was really high in the rankings, Prince Harry. You screwed up yourself.